Hey everybody, it's me, Ava Beyblade, back again for another Beyblade unboxing video. Today I have UX-06 Leon Crest and UX-07 Phoenix Rudder deck set. And of course the two bays I have laid out in front of me are Phoenix Wing and Leon Claw. Can't believe I forgot Leon Claw's name. And I have these here so I can compare them to their counterparts, which are actually different types than the original. Phoenix going from an attack to a stamina, and Leon going from a balance to a defense. So really cool, and I'm liking this new concept of a bay getting a variant of a new type. Definitely a very interesting idea that hasn't been utilized by TT before now. So very intrigued by where this will take us in Beyblade. Let's start out with the Leon Crest, which comes with 760 gear needle. 760 is a brand new ratchet, and gear needle is a reprint of a bit that you can only really get from the Sphinx Cowl random booster select. So getting a booster that comes with gear needle is actually pretty cool for people that are trying to get one for their collection, even if it sucks. 760, on the other hand, is a really interesting new ratchet that so far seems to pair really well with Crest on Hexa, from what I've seen online. And Crest is an absolute wall with poor stamina, and 760 is kind of a bit of a scrape risk, but is literally just like the wall frame from Burst, or Vanguard from the GT era of Burst, either of those. It's basically like that, and pairs really good with tips like Hexa, so it's really good. On the other hand though, it does have one blade out of the 7 sides that is thicker and heavier than the rest, which makes it unstable. Because God forbid we have a stable defense ratchet. I mean, I get it, they don't want to have another 560 situation going on, but really. But it is really heavy, like 34 grams I've seen. So let's get right into this. And the entire lore behind why Leon Crest exists is basically after King loses to Dran's sword or dagger or whichever one, King realizes he can't just rely on his defense with Leon Claw anymore, and decides to instead make a new Leon variant all focused on defense, which is the basic premise of why Leon Crest exists. I think it's a little goofy, but it's still cool, and I'm not knocking it at all. I mean, look at this thing. This looks awesome. And any way for a Leon variant to be meta, outside of just Leon Taper, Leon Claw on Taper, that is really cool. And because this is a UX release, not a BX, there is no metal on the hooks like the basic line where the hooks for the launcher are metal. These are plastic, which focuses on outward weight distribution. And unique shapes, honestly, is the main focus. There's a lot of unique shapes. Okay, wow, this is thick, holy crap. Yeah, I see why they had to use plastic for the lower half, though. This thing would probably be like a freaking 50 grams if they did metal all the way across the blade. This is intense. Like, this is such a hefty blade. Look at this. I mean, here's Leon Claw for comparison. The difference in thickness is insane. Holy crap. Like, that is scary. Here is 760. Yeah, there's the one odd blade that's a little bit more pointed than the others. But yeah, this is literally just like the wall frame from Burst. If you ever played during like Cho-Z and GT times of Burst, the wall frame was really good paired with tips that had decent stability and stamina. So like your bearing tips at the time. So this, I can only assume, is going to be an absolute unit on Hexa, which is our closest equivalent at the moment. As for Leon Crest, they actually made it really balanced all the way around, which is nice. Despite it also being a 7-bladed bay. But yeah, that's just a thick freaking bay right here. Gear needle, kind of an interesting color. It's like a sad mint. I don't know any other way to put it than like a dulled down or sad mint color. But yeah, I guess it makes sense when going from a more aggressive playstyle to more defensive that the colors would shift. So definitely unique. I mean, as the UX implies, it should be unique. But like, wow, this is impressive. Very intrigued to see how good this is on Hexa in competitive use. I've heard it's good, but I have yet to test that for myself. So now to just put the box back together and add it to my glorious display shelf. This is just the bottom shelf with all my random boosters of Shark Edge and Wyvern. Yeah. I do have like 4 more shelves going up with progressively more chaos going on amongst them. It's like this is the most calm and organized shelf. Then they get a little less organized the next, and then a lot unorganized, and then completely unorganized. And then the very top is where my TV that I never even use is. Should probably use it, or at the very least get it plugged in. Yeah, just absolute mess of a shelf. Land Crest looks like a wall. Can't wait to try it. Now for the main event, Phoenix Rudder, which comes with 970, a brand new ratchet height for the 9 ratchets, and Glide, a brand new bit made with palm material, which if you're unfamiliar with palm, basically it's like a really low friction tip, or like more low friction shape. Dang it, even that's not right. Material. Low friction material, and it's typically found on tips like bearing drive. Yeah, bearing drive had regular. But bearing and metal bearing drift, the drift variants, all those from Burst had this material. Yielding from Burst, which is from the dual layer and came on Yggdrasil, had that material on a really wide sharp. And it's really low friction, which is good for stamina, which is why all the bearing tips used it. So this is our first one getting that for Beyblade X, which is cool. Also, the deck is really just carried by Phoenix. But if you never did get these prize blades from random boosters, I'd say this is a good way to get them, especially with how competitive Phoenix is. The parts on these are not great. Wyvern Gale comes with 260, which is notably bad, and Spike, which is just bad. Sphinx Cowl, on the other hand, does come with 180, which has a little bit of competitive use. I've seen some people here in the Orlando area use it and do fairly well with it, like 180 Unite on Phoenix Wing I've seen do pretty decently, or Taper. So it's not completely, like, irrelevant of a ratchet to put to use. Gear Flat isn't really all that special at this point in the game. I mean, you could, at the very least, put the blue one on the blue Phoenix Wing recolor that came out last month. So there's that, that'd be cool. But you could get the same result by just buying Tyranno Roar from Hasbro for $8 at your local Walmart or Target. So it's really not worth it for that unless you're wanting it for the prize blades and, of course, Rudder. Otherwise, if you just want to do that, just buy the Tyranno Roar. But yeah, this is owned by Burn Fujiwara, the, powerhouse blader that owns Phoenix Wing and Phoenix Feather. But decided to go for stamina. Honestly, I can't remember the, reason why he did that, and I would be saying it if I did, but I have no clue why he did that, to be honest, and I can't remember. Let's just dig into the box, I guess. Man, it would suck if the product code was on the back, and I just am too stupid to realize. Yeah, that might just be the case. I might have just ruined it for myself, honestly. Well, I won't know until I cut into this. Oh, tape is only on that side. Nothing on the little flaps. Oh, cool, it is inside. Okay. Just gonna put that to the side. Yeah, I also recently saw somebody get an error pack where instead of a Wyvern, they got 2 Phoenix Rudders, which is, just absolutely amazing factory error. Like, I was actually half hoping, but also half hoping I don't, because it's like 50-50. Like, I want to have everything for the collection, but on the other hand, 2 Phoenix Rudders for the price of 1 is freaking awesome. So I just had like a smidge of hope that I could have just gotten a second rudder by accident. I want to start cutting bays out of here. I gotta do my best to preserve the box so I can put this on the display shelf. Okay. Oh shoot, Spike just fell out. Wow. Oh dang, I really just cut right through it, huh? Okay. Got the rudder. Got Wyvern. Dang, how'd they tape this one? There we go. Now to try and safely as possible put it back into the main box. And that is a successful mission right here. Assuming the flaps will all shut properly. Right on. Back on, going on the display shelf with this one. Now for the bays. I'll start from least exciting, in my opinion, to most. But really, all these are really nice colors, even if the parts are kind of mediocre at best for most of it. Because Phoenix is definitely very much carrying this deck set. 260, kind of really like metallic silver on black. I'm actually a big fan of this. This is a nice color palette. I like that. They should do more like this. I mean, probably would make more sense to do this palette for like, you know, tournament prize, second place type of base rather than releases, but I hope they do more releases with that color palette because that is sweet. As for Wyvern Gale, I'm a big fan of this as well. It really does work nice. Like the color palette on this. I don't think this is like good for defense at all. Honestly, I would rather they did like, I don't know, attack or balance on this instead. Just for, you know, how good it would be at those things. Because Wyvern was like a mediocre stamina, and that was back before Rod existed. And then it was kind of like mediocre on taper, I think. Like not even good on taper, just like less than mediocre actually. But it's still a nice way to get a Wyvern Gale prize blades. That's cool. 260 is alright. It is interesting to have a 260 on a right spin release now, though, which is cool. So easier to get 260, I guess. Spike, there's no redeeming Spike. It's just bad. It's just Spike. Sphinx Cowl, 180 gear flat. Really not terrible, but also not super solid. I do know a person in the local area that's experimented with Sphinx on 180 gear point, though. So I'm curious how this gear flat combo will run. I like the two-tone blue. It's interesting. Not like my first pick for how they could have done two-tone blue, considering we've already got 2 other releases with blue. I mean, the main Drawn Buster starter has blue on white, I think, or blue on blue, which kind of isn't very cool for this. But I mean, it is a 180, which is different, whereas the 160s were blue. So this is the second way you can get a 180 ratchet now. Otherwise, you'd have to get a Prize Shinobi Shadow. I think it's Shadow. Yeah, Knife is the Rhino Horn skin, reskin. So yeah, not terrible. I forgot about the fact this is an 80, not a 60, which means this is actually a solid pole. And as for Sphinx, since it was a random booster select, you can kind of just get Sphinx from that for way cheap. I mean, it's not going to be like the one you'd want unless you go out of your way to buy the right one. But like $20, $25, I think, on Beyblade Premiere, you can just buy the prize Sphinx. So, you know, not exactly all that crazy. But the combo is the main appeal, I'd say, is just the absolute goofball of an attacker that this will be as it pinballs around. Yeah, pinball, not goofball. Just pinballs around the stadium is what I can imagine this doing. So that'll be entertaining at the very least. Wyvern's just going to be one of those beat-up bays that you just have put all your fun bays around for messing around. Yeah, that's going to be the main use for that. And now for the main attraction, Phoenix Rudder. So 970 has this really pretty rose color on black, like rose pinkish. Very pretty, very big fan of this color. This is definitely going to be put to use also, 970 in competitive. I can't wait to watch all the rod spammers just abuse rod 970 ball now and put their 60 on something else. Or put this on something else. I don't know. 970 is fun. Now we have 9 in every height. I mean, you could run a triple 9 height deck, or 9 side deck. So that's entertaining. Glide is a low resistance stamina bit with the higher gear ratio. So think bits like a Cell and Hexa with the gear ratio they have. And there has been kind of some confusion on if Glide is a free spin palm or what it is. No, it's just a sharp. Can't get the camera to focus. Yeah, it's just a palm sharp tip. Or maybe it's more of a ball. I think it's a ball. Yeah, it's just kind of a palm ball tip. But the outer plate is kind of more flat than more regular plastic, so this could have some erratic movements if you aren't careful. But I do think it'll be entertaining at the very least to watch. And now for rudder, which basically just kind of has a tapered shape where the blades are kind of angled upward. So it kind of made to just tank hits and move around. I don't know. I don't think it's all that crazy with that concept. It's gonna do anything. Gotta figure out which way is the right side up. There we go. This is right side up for Phoenix. Really pretty. I don't think this is all that tournament meta or anything, but it is fun looking. It looks like it'll be fun, and it is fairly heavy, so you might have some use on taper, I guess, if you really want to put it to use. But yeah, here it is. 970 Glide. I'm interested on how this will be stock, but the main thing everybody's raving about right now is putting Cobalt Dragoon on Glide, because Cobalt Dragoon Glide can beat Rod on Ball every time. But its only downside is if it goes against another Dragoon, it loses. So if it goes against a Dragoon attack setup, it's dead. But otherwise, it's a monster that beats Rod Ball, which is insane. But kind of pay to win, because I mean, the only way to get Glide right now is from this freaking deck that costs like $30, $40, depending on where you buy it. So that's a little bit of a sad pay to win compared to Rod on Ball. But otherwise, it's really fun. And Rod on Glide can actually counter the same setup, I'm pretty sure, but I won't be able to test that until I can get a hold of a second Glide copy or actually go against that same matchup in a tournament. So I don't know. But Glide on Rod going against Glide on Ball, or Rod on Ball, loses to Rod on Ball, so it's not even worth trying, sadly. But let's do some test launches, see how this performs. I have my stadium ready to test launch everything. Okay, this should be a solid view of everything. I have switched up my launcher setup recently. And by that, I mean I just ditched the grip and just went straight for Battle Pass string and the Noozle 3D ring grip. So the first test launch, I'm going to do Wyvern Gale 260 Spike because it's the least eventful, I'd argue. Would you look at that? Doesn't do much. Here's a bit of a zoom in. Yep, it's just doing what defense does, sitting there. Looks good at least. Next, I'm gonna launch Sphinx Cowl. This is gonna suck to try and catch on film. Angle weak launch. Hopefully it'll die down and you can get a good view of it slow, because watching it go fast is not going to be very entertaining. Okay, so yeah, the colors do look very nice when it's spinning. I do think the parts are at the very least fun, even if they aren't competitive all that much. But 180 does have a little competitive use from the more interesting setups, so I'm not knocking it before I even use it, because I've seen 180 work. Sphinx does not work. Gear flat kind of just depends on the skill of the user, I'd argue, and what you're using it on. Wyvern, it can be put to use on some anti-attack taper unite type setups if you're really skilled and lucky with it, I'd argue, but not worth it compared to some of the better options like, I don't know, Tyranno or Phoenix on those same setups. So it's really just a try your luck if you feel brave. 260 does not have any real tournament use. It scrapes too much. It's really blocky. Spike, 0 tournament use. You're never going to use Spike. Now let's test launch Leon Crest. See just how wobbly the 760 setup is. Okay, that looks really nice and isn't as unstable as I would have thought. It definitely is quite the wall. Okay, it is wobbling a bit. Oh wow, that is thick. That is really thick. Okay, and now Phoenix Rudder. One of my favorite things about this base design is just how much it looks like a rose, in my opinion. I don't know, just found it pretty for that. 3, 2, 1, go shoot! Yep, low friction. Yep, very pretty when spinning. I'd say if it gets hit, so I'd be careful with destabilization in the same spin. But I mean, you put glide on freaking Dragoon and you're just gonna have a monster. So now let's do something comedic and put the 2 new bays against their previous versions. So I'm gonna start by putting Leon Crest versus Leon Claw and see how that goes. I'm gonna launch Crest first because it has better stamina and easier to control. Shoot! Well, it's certainly taking those hits like a truck. Well, more like it recoils like a truck against other bays. Hit it. It's like instead of hitting like a truck, you just hit the others like a truck that are hitting you. That's 1 point. Outspin. I'm going to do first to 4. Go shoot. And a 1-hit burst from Leon Claw. With bit ejection, not the ratchet turning. So that is 2 to 1. 3, 2, 1, shoot. And that is a 3-part burst from Leon Claw, which means Leon Claw wins at a score of 4 to 1. Not bad. Does this make me feel worried about Leon Crest? Not really, and that's just because Gear Needle has low resistance. So I do think it'll work better if I put it on something like Hexa. But now let's do rudder versus wing. And they did use a different type of pink for rudder, or different reddish pink, I'd argue. So it's more of a rose tinted color, and I really like that, honestly. I feel like that really works with Phoenix's theme. Shoot. And Phoenix wing with a one spin finish, 1 point, I mean to say. Let's go 3, 2, 1, go shoot. Shoot. Definitely stabilizes decent, but its stamina just doesn't seem to be there against Phoenix wing. Though I do think it's because I'm launching flat and hard, which is why it's going on the extreme line. So I'm gonna try an angle shoot and see if this will work. Oh, and it burst. Oh yeah, I didn't even think about the fact that this is gonna start chipping its paint. Yeah, that sucks. I didn't even think of that. Oop. I mean, it's inevitable, and it's going to be expensive to get a second one that won't be chipping, but price you gotta pay, I guess. So I'm gonna, oh yeah, that would actually just be win for Phoenix wing. But I do need to work on using rudder. Now I'm just going to do a random battle of Wyvern versus Sphinx to see which of these two is better. I mean, it's obviously going to be Sphinx, I'd say, but gotta try it. Well, I was right, it is a pinball. And would you look at that, spin finish for Wyvern Gale. 3, 2, 1, go shoot. Jumps out of the pocket. Dang, Wyvern might just take the wins all around. Yep, what is that? Spin finish number 3? Yeah. 3, 2, 1, go shoot. Shoot. Extreme out of Wyvern, but not enough stamina to beat it. I guess defense does beat attack. Now I'm gonna do Crest versus Rudder. Let's see how this goes. I'm going to launch Phoenix first because more stamina. Yeah, it just dies. I guess the extreme line really took a lot out of it. So I'm gonna try reversing the launch order. Go shoot. Self KO from an extreme dash. Not battling for points, just to see how they do. Got out spun bad. And now to show off a little some ideas I had. So I'm going to show off Leon Crest on Hexa and see how that does. 760 Hexa. And I'm going to try out Dragoon 970, actually 960. I'm going to do 960 glide against rod on ball. And I'm going to test out the Crest setup as a kind of defense, just see how it does. So here is Dragoon 960 ball, or glide I mean, and Crest 760 hexa. And now I'm just going to build like 2 attack setups and just put them against it. So for rod, I currently have this random one from the random booster, 160. So I'm just gonna give it 970, actually no, 360. I'm gonna give it 360 and put it on ball. 360 is known for having the best stamina out of all the ratchets right now. So, got the 360 off my Vice Tiger, and a ball off of, I think, my Iron Man Bay. Yeah, the Iron Man that came out from Hasbro. So I got, 360 ball, and now I'm just going to build a hefty attack setup. Just something that hits like a truck, absolute monster. I got 2 different options, so I'm either going to do Bite Croc stock combo, or maybe 460. Yeah, I'm going to do it on 460, just because. And keep it on low flat. I'm also going to be running a drawn buster on, I don't even know, I guess taper, 560 taper could work, because that's a controlled one. Actually, I'm going to do Unite, and we'll just get a random 560 copy off of the Black Hills chain. And I'm going to put these setups against each other and just kind of show off how they do. So Buster, 560 Hexa. I forgot to get the 460 for Bite Croc. Oh, by the way, QR code if anyone wants it, because I haven't uploaded that video yet. But I will. I did a combo video with the Bite Croc 2-pack and the Thanos and Iron Man 2-pack. That feels like it's a straight lie coming out of my mouth. I feel like those should not be actual Beyblades, Iron Man and Thanos. But yep, those are entirely correct real bays that exist, thanks to Hasbro. Okay, Bite Croc 460 low flat. I could have done Shark Edge 460 low flat. I just like how Bite Croc does it better, I guess. So for the first match, to get it out of the way, stamina versus stamina, rod versus Dragoon. And I better grab my left launcher out of here. The launch order doesn't really matter, I think, because Dragoon's going to win regardless, I feel like. So I'm going to just launch Dragoon first, so it'll be at a stamina disadvantage. That is if it'll stay in the goddamn arena. I just can't believe our tournament scene for X is now incorporating spin equalization. At just 1 year into Beyblade X, we've already got spin equalization and limited part rules. Only for them to revoke limited part rules after realizing, hey, that's kinda not a good image. Okay, Dragoon loses spin finish. I'm gonna do first a 3, just to, you know, keep things a little going quickly. Okay, that is a knockout, 2 points. Go. is currently 2-1 in Dragoon's favor due to a lucky knockout. Dragoon is tipping. Maybe I was wrong. Okay, I definitely feel like I was wrong about this match. But that could be due to a strength launch difference or numerous factors. Could be the fact I'm running 960 instead of 3. I don't know. But I am going to test this against the attack combos. So next it's going to be Dragoon versus Bite Croc, and then after that against Buster. Going to weak launch. Gets obliterated with a spin finish. Let's go again. Go. Shoot. Okay, Dragoon is definitely taking these hits rather well. And a draw, I believe. Now let's just put it against Buster, see how that does. Buster missing all of its hits. And a knockout from Dragoon. Okay, let's run it again. Go. Ah, dang it. Self-KO before the match even starts. Start over. Buster getting a lot of hits, but just nothing good enough to penetrate Dragoon's defenses. Okay, so really Dragoon's biggest flaw here is if you can't out-launch a rod setup, I guess, and otherwise, I guess self-KOing. But man, that is kind of scary how good that is. And now I'm going to test out Leon Crest 760 Hexa against these same attack combos. I don't expect it to beat Rod or Dragoon at all, so I'm not even going to bother testing because I just know it's not going to beat them. 3, 2, 1, go shoot. Okay, very good knockout hit from Bite Croc. Let's go again. That's 2-0, Bite Croc. First to 5, I believe, will do. Okay, another knockout. That's 4 for Bite Croc. And a spin finish for Leon Crest. So the score is now 4-1. 3, 2, 1, go shoot. And an extreme finish from Leon Crest, meaning the score is now 4-4. 3, 2, 1, go shoot. Anyone can take this. And an extreme dash from Bite Croc, meaning it is game. But a very close match, and definitely a solid defense tank from Leon Crest right now. So that's definitely going to be an entertaining bay to use. Now I'm going to put Crest against Buster 560 Unite. Crest. Ooh, I can't call that. I think Buster actually took that just barely. So I'm just going to count it 1-0 in Buster's favor. Shoot. And Crest takes it 1-1 now. 3, 2, 1, go shoot. Shoot. Okay, Buster with a knockout. 3-1. 3, 2, 1, go shoot. And a KO from Leon Crest, 3-3. I don't remember if I was doing 1st to 4 or 1st to 5, so I'm just going to say 5 is where we'll end it. Go shoot. Spin finish for Crest. The score is 4-3. 3, 2, 1, go shoot. Go shoot. And that is game with 5-3 for Leon Crest. Gotta say, I am very impressed with Leon Crest's defense capability on 760 Hexa. I'm not quite sure what to make of Dragoon on Glide just yet, based off of that little bit of testing. But I do definitely think it's going to be a monster defense against a lot of our clockwise attack setups, so that'll be fun. Not sure how good it is against Rod on ball, but I'm going to do some more testing off camera. Maybe see how that goes. Overall, the Phoenix Rudder set, pretty solid if you're looking to get some prize bays you never had. And solid for just kind of general fun, I'd argue. And Phoenix Rudder is just entertaining. The glide bit's really fun. The Wyvern reprint is cool in silver, even if it's not like all that competitive useful. Same with 260 and Spike. Not all that competitive, but entertaining. Sphinx Cowl, 180 is kind of useful and competitive right now. Sphinx is not. Gear Flat is like, depends on how you're using it, I'd argue. It's still fun to get a reprint of another prize blade and a prize ratchet at the moment with 180. As for Leon Crest, I would say really strong wall defense bay. Definitely best on Hexa. If you can swap to Hexa, I would definitely recommend that. So yeah, Glide, good for defense. The reprints of the prizes are cool. Leon Crest, absolute unit when put on Hexa. Overall, fairly solid. I'd say it's worth it if you're looking for somewhat fun and competitive parts. Obviously competitive, you should probably only really go for Leon Crest and put it on whatever copy of Hexa you have available, if you have one. You could also do Taper, High Taper, or Unite for mobile tank or mobile defense. I have seen some people have luck with that working out currently. The Rudder set, I'd only really get for 970 and Glide, just for those parts. The Rudder blade, not super competitive. You could do it on Taper, I guess, for the same reasons you would run Crest, but that's only if you just really want to go for just running it for the sake of running it. The reprints are nice. 260, our first reprint, not all that competitive though. Same with Spike, we don't need more Spike. Wyvern Gale, solid choice to finally get. Sphinx Cowl, solid choice, love the color. 180, solid choice, like the color. Gear Flat, mediocre choice, still like the color. There you have it.